Last time out, Kegs extended his lead to Death in Flames, Tom Jakes and Mad Junk Boy by taking the stage once again by storm. But going on to the boardwalk, can he hold this advantage? Good day, Six Axis. My name is not Chuggy, and welcome back to the Apocalypse. Hello there, and welcome to Heat 3 of the Six Axis Motorstorm Apocalypse Festival. Now, Chuggy is not here this week. He's moving house. So, in his place, you've been lumped with myself, James Kirk, once again. Whether this is a good idea or not, I genuinely have no idea. But regardless, we shall look forward to what we have in store. The stage is Boardwalk, and it will undoubtedly suit the off-road vehicles. We're talking the dirt bike, the buggy, the mud plugger, the racing truck. The city vehicles, such as the muscle car and supercar, will not fare well here at all, as the majority of the track is off-road, and even the tarmac bits have some terrain deformation in them. So, with that in mind, let us not delay any further and move on to race 1. So here we are on the grid for race 1. Only 3 viewpoints for you today due to a somewhat detracted field from last week. Only 11 races today, but we start nevertheless with Death in Flames. Now, we expect the muscle car here not to do as well as the other vehicles. And as you can see, Kegs and Tom Jakes and Mad Junk Boy, in fact, the 3 top contenders at the moment, are already out in front of him. So, scrapping with Top Gear Sam, and oh goodness me, Top Gear Sam just spun Death in Flames around. Not a great start there. Nevertheless, still in 6th. Going to the top there, we can see the emblem of Mad Junk Boy just ahead of him. Up to 5th, very impressive, mind you. It looks like he's keeping a good watching brief of the pack at the moment. Taking the sharp hairpin, not easy in a muscle car, it must be said. More the drifty vehicle, but Death in Flames obviously feels he's going to lose time here. So at the moment, sparring with Top Gear Sam. The dirt bike, we reckon, should actually do not too bad on this circuit, given that it is a dirt bike. Perhaps we'll see it pull up a few surprises. Up ahead now is Storm in the buggy, who has a spin, but quickly back on his wheels to try and maintain his lead to Death in Flames. Storm 48 in a dizzying height of 3rd at the moment. We've seen him often in the midfield pack, not always up the top, prone to make mistakes, and he takes a much wider line. Death in Flames taking an underneath line instead, through the water. Should be slower, but it seems like it's paid him dividends, or has it? Maybe not. And Tom Jakes, I think that was just behind him. Down to 5th now, and oh, side by side with Storm. And Storm comes the worst off as Death in Flames makes sure that he keeps that jump. Oh, goodness me. Almost crossing past with Tom Jakes there, but Death in Flames seems to be taking a conservative approach more than anything. He wants to make sure he gets around the track and not crash anywhere, else he's going to lose ground. Anyway, back with Tom at the moment, who is battling with Top Gear Sam and Storm by the looks of it. Oh no, is that... Oh goodness me, online. Assassin's up there. I was not expecting that. Thought that was Top Gear. Never mind. It's interesting how close this midfield pack is at the moment, though. You can see Tom is carrying between 6th and 7th place. There's Storm 48, and I think then Top Gear Sam up ahead of him. So this is good positions at the moment, which are being fought over here. Tom Jakes, though, is the main competitor which we're going to look at, as he is the one mounting the championship challenge to Kegs. There's going to be no real advantage one, we think, as everyone's on good off-road vehicles, we should say, in this midfield battle, and Tom goes up to 4th there. That jump. And Tom not electing to use the massive ramp which Death in Flames was using, and now he finds himself wrecking Top Gear Sam, that was very aggressive by Tom Jakes there. And he gets a trophy for his troubles. And what's this? Kegs 11 has disconnected. And that's going to make a huge blow to him. And this is quite complicated, as Kegs 11, due to disconnecting, will now receive the last person to finish his time. So not a DNF, but the last person to finish, he will get his time. But it's a massive blow. And we'll just have to see how far back the last person to finish is. And so due to that disconnection, Tom Jakes now moves up into third. Always nice to get a podium place, but remember, it's not the podium place which we are interested in. It's time, of course. We're now on to Mad Junk Boy here. And he is in first place, which is kind of what we were expecting. We were expecting either the buggy or the mud plugger, or in fact, oh my goodness me! And I think that was Berserk who just came across Mad Junk Boy's front there. Hasn't affected him too much. He's still in first, but as I was saying, we were expecting either the buggy or the mud plugger to do best here, due to the softer suspension. And it does appear Mad Junk Boy is taking full advantage of Kegs' disconnection, and indeed the attributes of his vehicle. There's a car just ahead of him there, but we won't need to bother much about that as he crosses the line. In what is that there? We'll see in a bit. On here it comes, looks like second place. Is that? Looks like Death in Flames. And yes it is. So Mad Junk Boy posting a 5 minute 10. Death in Flames 11 seconds behind. Very impressive to do it in a muscle car. And Tom Jakes there coming home in third. A further 12 seconds behind Death in Flames. So already massive implications on the championship, with Online Assassin 77 coming in 4th, Top Gear Sam 5th, Storm 48 6th. So race 1 there, and drama already. Kegs 11 disconnecting, the championship leader taking the slowest time there, and Mad Junk Boy taking full advantage of it. He's been 4th twice in a row now, and I'm pretty sure that with his buggy he would like to get a win on what is reportedly his favourite stage. So can Kegs limit the damage that has already been done in the next 2 races? Well, we'll find out how much he can do now in race 2. So here we are, race 2, going straight on board with Mad Junk Boy. This circuit is much more deadly and potent than the last one. And we have Online Assassin 77, Tom Jakes and Mad Junk Boy. Oh, Online Assassin's gone now. But 2 of the championship contenders once again going straight into the lead. Hopefully we won't have... oh goodness, that's the Berserker back there. Almost wrecking Mad Junk Boy. And there's Kegs, there's Top Gear Sam. Berserker goes for a spin. Top Gear Sam almost gets run over by Mad Junk Boy. And Tom Jakes and Kegs 11. Oh goodness me! Mad Junk Boy, they just clipped his front axle. And the championship contenders of Kegs 11 and Tom Jakes will now definitely be up in the lead. Nevertheless, he finds himself now in 5th, which is not too bad. And I'm pretty sure that his main contender to think about for today, Kegs, will be at a disadvantage now given that he disconnected. Storm 48 there, having a nice tangle with Mad Junk Boy, but in the end subduing to the 4th place man at the moment in the table and in the race. Lovely bit of coincidence there. Once again, 4 laps on the cards, and we are nearing the end of lap 1. Oh, up ahead of you, you can just see a boat there crashing onto the beach. And it looks like, I believe that's Top Gear Sam. And he might have been caught out a bit by that boat. It always does with even the best of players. And so here we go back with Death in Flames, who must be having a horrid time of things. The muscle car will not be liking these conditions whatsoever. Even the flat terrain, which is where the muscle car should be excelling, is not completely flat. And Storm 48 there seems to have a crash. So Death in Flames moves up into 5th. And you can see how much the screen is just toing and throwing around. For the muscle car especially, it must be terrible conditions to drive in. So here we go, using boost to the max, using a little bit of a kink there in the road to his advantage, so he can pull down the boost. And we are coming around this final corner now to start lap 3. Death in Flames currently in 5th position out of 11. Up ahead, a fire seems to have erupted. Not sure what. It looks like an oil tanker. So, yep, the tornado to your left has thrown up an oil tanker and thrown it onto the road. It's the lovely benefits of being in Motorstorm. So things seem to have quietened down, if you can say that, for Death in Flames, who doesn't seem to have anyone too far ahead of him, and as far as we know, no one too close behind him. You can just see Death in Flames just absolutely throwing this car around. And as we say that, we're back on board with Tom Jakes, just a bit further up the road with Top Gear Sam. That means that Mad Junk Boy must have got past him at some point. As we enter the final lap, it'll be interesting to see where these two end up. Top Gear Sam forced to take the upper road there and falling foul to Tom Jakes once again. Very aggressive. It is the issue with the dirt bike though. It may be doing quite well. And what happened there? Tom Jakes just seemed to get stuck on the jump and now finds himself in battle once again with Top Gear Sam. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. The racing truck, the second heaviest vehicle in the field for this competition. The dirt bike, obviously the weakest. And Top Gear Sam getting a bit wrong-footed there, and Tom Jakes now up into 3rd. Of course, the dirt bike will be taking... Oh, well, it should have taken that corner a bit better, but didn't slow down enough, and Tom regains his 3rd place. Interesting, taking a different line to the other people. Ah, I'm getting a bit of speed just there. 1st place is finished. 1st place has finished, and it'll be interesting to see who it was. As Tom crosses the line in 3rd. Kegs 11 there winning the round with a 5:02. Mad Junk Boy in 2nd, 5:05. So he's not going to go too badly there. So race 2 there, a much more savage track there to race on, but thankfully no savage disconnections. Kegs 11 taking the win and doing extremely well to build up his damage limitation. Mad Junk Boy though extremely close behind, only 3 seconds behind, and it looks like he might be on to take the stage win. Let's see if he can do so in race 3. So here we are on the grid for the final race, race 3. Things seem to have calmed down back on track, but nevertheless there shall be more obstacles to get around. On board first of all with Tom Jakes, who is on pole position, gets away quite nicely, but straight down to 2nd position as we see Kegs 11 once again up at the front. The man has been extremely lucky after his disconnection, and going to the first corner he doesn't get so lucky there. Finds himself underneath a boat, allowing Tom Jakes to go. Oh goodness me, I was going to say he gets up into 1st, but Storm 48 having a belter of a start, getting up into 2nd. And Kegs 11 up into first. Tom Jakes has moved up into second. We can see something's happened. And there's Kegs 11 in first. And here's Death in Flames having a go. But Tom Jakes once again so aggressive against the other drivers. And spinning Death in Flames to try and make his own ends meet. So going around the massive left-hander here, right by the seaside. Kegs 11 still in the lead. We can expect Tom Jakes to make a massive push though. We're expecting him to finish somewhere between second, maybe third, once again this week. We'll see what he can do. Kegs 11, of course, trying to get as fast a time as possible to try and get as far up the grid as he can. We know he won't be taking first place. Or maybe he will. We don't know. But he's made a mistake there. He's crashed. And Tom Jakes attempts to go around the outside on the upper part. Bashing into Kegs 11. Not the best of ideas. The Mudplugger is definitely the heaviest vehicle in the field, Tom. And you are not as heavy. Kegs 11 that time nailing the hairpin. Tom Jakes once again left him to go round the outside. And you can just see how fast Kegs 11 has gone in that short space of time. However, we move now on to Mad Junk Boy. And he's in fourth at the moment. Of course, we're expecting Mad Junk Boy probably to take the stage win. He's been impressive all throughout the races. And this is a very interesting route. I've been on Motorstorm for over a year now, and I never knew you could go through there. We saw Kegs taking the same route earlier. But anyway, back to the action. We have got up ahead of us Death in Flames and Tom Jakes. And that means Kegs is just around there. Look at this. All four of the top cars in the championship are fighting it out. Magic Boy almost going underneath Death in Flames to get past him. Going up on that massive rock to get some air time to cool down his engine. And on to the next challenge. Tom Jakes. What great racing here for the final round. Onto the home straight. As we go on to lap 3. Will Mad Junk Boy make a manoeuvre into the first corner? Yes, he does. And he forces Tom Jakes out onto the outside path once again. Tom deciding, oh, Kegs is going down there. Let's try that route. Nope, says Mad Junk Boy. You're going that way, my son. And up into second he goes. Now it's time to cash down the leader at the moment. Kegs 11. A 25 points will do Mad Junk Boy very nicely at this stage in time. And he does seem to be catching. The buggy is simply much faster around the circuit. The Mudplugger, yeah, it's great for this terrain, but its strength lies in its strength, not in its speed. And aside from a mishap there, means that I think Mad Junk Boy might just have gone past there. Anyway, going back on board with Death in Flames. He's currently in fourth. And in a muscle car, I think he'd just be trying to maintain fourth. He's probably not going to be catching up to the racing truck, the buggy and the Mudplugger, since his vehicle simply doesn't suit this area. Nevertheless, he is going to try his best as we enter the final lap. Can he make a move on Tom Jakes on the inside? No, he can't. Caught out by a palm tree. And once again, he has to go around that really tight hairpin. Extremely difficult in a muscle car, given how slowly it takes the muscle car to get up to speed. It's a drifting car, not a tight F1 car. Nevertheless, he moves forward. Moving on to the massive Boardwalk area, which this track is named after. He does appear to be catching up to Kegs by using the boost in a slightly different way. He maxes it out most of the time, so he gets a full advantage on the straights. Which is probably, to be fair, why he's up so far. And who's this? Mad Junk Boy's disconnected! Oh, not again! And that's just ruined his chances of taking the win. That must mean that Kegs 11 is up into first, Tom Jakes up to second, and Death in Flames has found himself in their podium position. Oh, this is unfortunate. And there the leader is finished. We'll see whether it was Kegs. As Death in Flames crosses the line in third. Yes, it was Kegs 11 with a 5:21, I believe that is. Yeah, so 5:21. Tom Jake 6 seconds behind. Death in Flames only 3 seconds behind there. But oh no. It's an absolute shame, but both Kegs and Mad Junk Boy's results in this heat have been ruined. And you can see there in the text chat, unbelievably bad luck, says Kegs 11. Looking down the field, Online Assassin gets 4th. Again, that's a great result for him, but possibly not as awesome as G-Town, who finds himself up in 5th. That is absolutely superb for the buggy driver. Top Gear Sam finds himself in 6th with the Berserker 7th, Storm 48 8th, Kiwi 95 9th, and that leaves Metalla in 10th, but he gets a DNF. Anyway, that's his 3rd DNF in the evening, quite unfortunate. So, such a shame that this evening was ruined by DNFs, and as we can see, that means that Tom Jakes takes the win with Death in Flames, an unlikely 2nd in this heat. Kegs 11 and Mad Junk Boy, good damage limitation to get to 3rd and 4th, but they could have been so much more. Top Gear Sam takes 5th for the 3rd week running, with Online Assassin 77 in 6th and Storm 48 in 7th. The only person not to get a point there this week is Metalla, and as we can see, this affects the leaderboards somewhat, with Kegs 11 losing about 3 points to Death in Flames. Tom Jakes overtakes Mad Junk Boy now by 7 points overall. Online Assassins drawn level with Project J, as the Berserker has drawn level with THL Network, and G-Town has drawn level with Tony Corley. So there's lots to look forward to in the second half of the season, including of course the return of Chuggy, hopefully next week. It's been a pleasure to do the commentary for this one time. And yeah, Chuggy will see you out next time on the Interstate. Bye bye for now.